Okay, what I have done is I started with the fabric on a piece of freezer paper, and I put glue, watered down glue over the fabric, and then I put strips of crepe paper, you can use tissue paper as well, onto the glued surface. And then I took the piece of collage that I had created on the freezer paper. I put that onto the crepe paper that had glue on it, and then I put glue on top of that, and then I put tissue paper on top of that. And now you can, do this layer and layer and layer as much as you want to. But the idea is you have to have a combination of tissue paper and glue in between each sandwich. You have to sandwich the piece in between the fabric and the tissue paper, and so, or the crepe paper. And so the stronger it is, of course, it's going to be harder to sew through. So just keep that in mind when you want to do this, either on machine or on or with your hand. If you want to do hand sewing, keep it as much like fabric as possible. So that's why you don't want the collage piece to be thick. So when you get done, let it dry by itself, or if it's really a sunny day, just put it outside to dry, or use your blower to dry it if you want. I usually just let mine just dry by itself. Okay, so I will be talking to you soon, and I hope to see what you do in this technique. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, what I'm going to show you is how to peel your the piece that you've created, your collage, off of the freezer wrap. Easiest way is to really put your blower on low and dry the top of it first. Make sure that it's bone dry on the top, and then you can take your piece and just lift it up a little bit, and then start drying the bottom. And as you dry the bottom, slowly start peeling it up. And you'll see that it works a lot better if you just peel it real slow. And you should peel it off in just one big piece. I actually did this one a little thinner. The one that I did, that I showed you the video for before, I'm going to use that for something else. But this is actually what we're going to use to fuse into our fabric. And so you want the tissue paper collage layer to be no more than probably no more than 3 layers of tissue paper and collage material. And because you want to keep it thin, if you want to use it for something else, you could make it thicker. But if you want to keep it thin enough to embed into your fabric or fuse into your fabric, you need to keep it very thin. Also, I wanted to remind you to always use the glossy part of your freezer paper, because that's the wax part of the freezer paper, and that's really, keeps it from sticking. If you do it the opposite way, you're going to have, paper on the bottom of it. Now, what you're going to have also is one big sheet, which you can then use in making something else. Like, you'll find that this is really sturdy, to where if you wanted to fold it and make it into a journal cover, or it's still a little bit wet, so you want to just make sure that this is really completely bone dry before you start to knit it. And even although it was collaged in pieces, it'll come up in one big piece because the acrylic paint or the glue actually causes it to fuse together. So, like I say, even though you have a whole bunch of pieces and strips that are side by side, you'll have a nice big piece to work with. So that's the next part of this particular step that I'm showing you is make sure that your glue is watered down to a creamy consistency, not a real thick. You don't want it to be real thick because then you probably will cause everything to stick. Even though this plastic is a it's actually used. Quilters use it a lot for doing fabric piece appliques and stuff like that. So it won't stick really, but just for safety, you probably should use watered down glue. And the other thing is that you need to use strong tissue paper. Now, I found some crepe paper in my stash, and so you can see that I used crepe paper stick, just really crepe paper in my work, strips of crepe paper. But as long as your tissue paper is real strong, it won't fall apart. And your tissue paper, layering your tissue paper with your collage material is what makes this really strong and fused together. So you can kind of see what I've done so far. Now, if you also want to take this particular piece and collage on it, you can do the same thing. You can keep layering with your tissue paper and your glue, or you can just put this in your journal and glue this into your journal and then collage on that. Because I'm making jewelry, I'll probably use this for a sheet to make some of my jewelry, maybe even a cuff bracelet. So I'll probably make this thicker to do that. So you can see what I've done. The next thing you'll do is fuse this into your fabric. So I'm going to show you that step after I get this done. Okay? So I'll talk to you soon, and hope you have fun with your collage on freezer paper. Once you know how to do this, you'll be doing this a lot. Get yourself a big roll of freezer paper at the grocery department in the same section that the bags and aluminum foil and all that stuff is. You should be able to find it this part of the year. And I'm not going to promise you can, because freezer paper is seasonal. Sometimes they actually have it, and sometimes they not. Because they don't ordinarily use it for art. They use it to freeze things for the freezer. So I can't promise you there it's going to be there. But you can try, if you want to try something else. You want to try a piece of acetate. You could try plastic. You could even try a garbage bag. I have actually painted tissue paper on garbage bag, and it does not stick. You can try wax paper. There's other things that you can try as your surface to see if it does stick or doesn't stick. Okay. Anyway, I just want you to experiment with this technique and get back with me on the group and let me see what you've done with this cloth on the cloth paper scissors group. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do. Thank you. Bye-bye.